going to be getting started in a minute. Welcome to the Palms Up Show. Again, you're getting to see what takes place before we actually get started.
How you doing this week?
Doing great.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Hey guys, we've been busy, but don't forget out there, mental health matters. That's right. Palms up. We might get busy and do a lot of networking, a lot of, greeting of our cousins from another mother, but that's on purpose because we are a community, and in community is the word unity. And there's some accountability that we need to start sharing. These headlines and these stories are not just about somebody else's family. As you can see, sometimes we don't have time to get all dolled up. We just got to go out, and tonight I want to acknowledge is National Night Out with MPD. They're addressing the violence and being aware, being present in the community. We can all do better, and if we're going to hold the police department and other entities accountable, then we got to hold ourselves accountable, right? It's the 5th.
It's this Saturday, right?
It's this Saturday, as a matter of fact, and it's 2 shows. As he told us, they have, I believe it's a 2 o'clock show and a 6 o'clock show. It's called The Emergency Room. Go to his feed, Antonio Ford. Guys, we have to become a community that's supporting each other. The danger of everybody thinking they have the answer and that the sole answer rests with you is dangerous for our community, because the need is much greater than where you are with it. The need is much greater than where we are with it. And that's why we've been out forging these relationships, making certain that if we don't like the landscape that we see, making the policies, governing our children, dictating our health choices, then we got to do something about it. We got to change the status quo. What is the status quo? The everyday, mundane routine that would have our youth continuing to just Rhonda. Yeah, right. Don't talk about it, be about it. Hey, overseer. I'm fired up. Police chief said they done locked up 43 children. That's a representation of us. Us. Why can't we get this right? What's going on the community level, in the households? Everybody ain't just pulling guns and getting away. They coming back somewhere. They going to sleep somewhere. Oh, my bad. Snitches get stitches, right? Yeah, we're going to talk about that, because if we're going to live by these outdated codes that would keep our children being buried and keep unhealthy adults from being accountable to themselves, when your behavior is not satisfactory, it's time to get help. And I'm talking to my mamas that's popping off. I'm talking to my mamas with children that's popping off. And I get it. It's a lot going on. You ain't got the housing you want. You ain't got the job you want. Probably don't have the man you want. And if you got the man, you get the wrong stuff going popular when our children are dying. Overseer, would you please bring a word this week? Please bring a word.
Family. And understand, family means more than just the mother in the household, the father in the household, or the grandmother. I grew up where our community was our family. I think part of the problem is that we've allowed the government to dictate our households. Mm-hmm. We've allowed the government to dictate our education system. Mm-hmm. We've allowed the government to do a lot of things, but the government is only doing stuff because we're so divided as a community. It starts at home, but working with a lot of families, I realize that a lot of families are under a lot of stress. They have to make the choice whether to go out here and work, and if they go to work, daycare is so expensive. With this government system, you go and apply for assistance that help with the daycare, and they'll tell you make $2 too much. Mm-hmm. So then the parents got to make a decision. I got to keep my rent paid. I got to keep food on my table, so the children are left at home. We have all now, but it was free. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it did act like kind of like a babysitter. We need to stop getting off of this. I need the money. I need the shmoney. Us older generations that are now starting to retire, we need to give back into our community. We need to volunteer in these recreation centers and pass the wisdom down. We need to learn how to talk to our young people. They experience a lot of more stuff than we did, but we don't want to listen. We want to base it on what we know. But if you would sit back and really listen, our young folks have a lot to say.
Yes, they do.
And they have a lot of wisdom. And they do. They face a lot of stuff that we didn't have to face at their age. Look at the bullying in the school. You know why it's so popular? Because if back in the day, if there was a fight and authorities were called, the person who passed the first lick was punished. Nowadays, everybody's punished. So the person has a choice. Do I just sit there and do nothing? And then if they sit there and do nothing, then it just keep building and building. I work with kids that have never had any trouble, gone to school, might not have had good grades, but tried to do the best they can. And then when they go to government agents that's supposed to help the youth that are not in trouble, they don't get nothing. But as soon as the youth get locked up, they get all this so-called help from all these different government agencies and, quote, contracted private agencies from the government, but nothing gets done. There's no accountability. And then when the kids do get enrolled in the program, you hype them up. And then at the end, guess what? You drop them like a hot potato. For those that say they're here to help our community, to build our community, is it really about the money for you? If it is, and let somebody that really care, it ain't about the money, it's about the person, do what needs to be done. That's the only way some of this gun violence is going to stop.
You're right, sis. And thanks for that. She's so right. You know, I want to talk to my older generation, our generation and one above. You know, you hear us say on the show a lot that the population that we're losing to suicide the fastest is the age group between age 10 all the way up to the stand that we're losing a certain part of the population just because we are on different understandings or come from different understandings in terms of our generational exposures and understandings. See, you've been here before, right? You've been here first. So you kind of walk around as though the youth owe you something. Yeah, I know that old adage, you gave birth and how long you were in labor and what they should do. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, do you want to be right or do you want them still here? Our youth are not waking up in the morning and deciding to go break in cars, carjack, murder, kill. There's got something fundamentally wrong internally. Or they've got to be following behind someone, being a get with. We got to get back to raising leaders, to raising children that are not afraid to speak up. We got to get back to showing up at the schools. When is the last time you've been to the local community school, not just to pick up your own, but if your own doesn't go there, when did you decide to go down to changing or go to housing meetings and these tax property owners, we're sitting in the audience begging them not to raise our rent, you know, when they're failing our families and we're not holding them accountable. And I understand there's somebody out there saying, well, what you want us to do? I want you to come to the table, put your attitude to the side, and come with an open mind and an open heart ready to help and join the line. I'm so encouraged. Just having one conversation with the new nominated chief of police. I don't agree with a lot of what Mayor Bowser has done. I'm very disappointed with the death toll on her watch. And I'm sure for her, she believes she's done all she could. But the reality is we've been too loud out here, letting her know that our homeless problem, health problem, our drug addiction problem, our youth problem, our public safety failures. Guys, that's too much to be dismissive to families living with rodents, to families living with crime day in and day out, to families that need preventative mental health understandings so that they can grow. This isn't just talk. I remember we first came out and we were stuck in it, waiting for something to happen or the yellow tape to go up to point and say, oh, they got a problem. And then I got people like, oh, that's not mental health. She's using that mental health stuff. Just those kids need to be locked up. Look at here. We can't lock ourselves up through this when people need real help. We are humans. Where's the humanity? And why are we so quick to trust? Oh, they got it. Oh, they'll figure it out. We've been saying it all along. We can't wait on government. Many of us don't come from communities where we could afford the luxury of waiting on the government. Guys, it's your girl, Palms Up. This is real talk, and I know you don't want to hear. I know it's social media. I know you got other stuff you could be looking at. I know somebody's tipping in the latest outfit. I know somebody got their hair done, it's growing. I get it. I know somebody talking flip about women or putting men down. I know that's the stuff that goes popular. We need your help to change the status quo. It's not everybody else, it's you. We're the nation's capital. We got so many issues. So many issues. So when you look at us, right, we created the Palms Up platform so that we could have a space to talk about mental health comfortably, to educate you and advance you into the understandings of mental wellness, right? To talk about keeping that table balance, right? To help you understand about satisfactory and unsatisfactory behavior. A lot of us hear this understanding and then turn off or go to another channel because it's not entertaining enough or you just don't care. How many need to die before you care? How many need to be locked up before you care? I hear you out there, not mine, not my child. Well, community is bigger than just your child. And your child has to go out into the community. So maybe if you make an extra effort in the community with another child or another family that you know could use, maybe we can help get the community back. These guns have to stop. We're not making or coming up with a fashion statement. Lives are being lost. And 9 times out of 10, if they're out there out of control, maybe the life that they are living doesn't come equipped with the type of parent that checks on them, that helps them to feel warm and fuzzy when they feel a little off, that'll sit down yourself and recognize that everything starts at home. We don't have any business having 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We don't have any business for them to be creating murder or committing murder, I should say, doing carjackings. The chief of police that the mayor has appointed, I started out saying I don't agree with a lot of what the mayor has done and ignored. I don't agree with the governing that would have it so unbalanced that communities in east of the river still look the same, still looking for a grocery store and other amenities to offset their low living standards. And then west of the river where their towers are just going up, the stories are being told every day. The concerns are not the same, and nor will they ever be. But the respect, the dignity, and the fairness has to be the same. And that's what I do not like about this current mayor's way that she's running things. And they always say, oh, you can't have politics and nonprofit. I am Dr. Rondell Hamilton. I am a full-time mental health advocate. I happen to also. The first thing she asked me, she said, Dr. Hamilton, we just locked up 43 youth. And I don't want to be locking up youth on that level for the kinds of crimes that they're committing. Anybody out here doing this work knows that there's an emotional element missing. There's a structural element missing. There's a resource, access to to the type of programming that will impact these lives, that will make them want to put those guns down and get excited about a new thing. So who cares about what you think you know? People are dying.
You know what, Rhonda? If we're driving around in our communities, you know the one thing that I see that every community has? A liquor store.
Oh.
And a store.
Oh, yeah.
And a church.
And
but guess what?
Yeah.
Let me tell you the difference between a liquor store and the church. The liquor store door is always open. The church door is closed.
Come on now. Come on.
That's a problem. See, back in the day, them mothers got on your nerves, but they cared about the kids. They was always feeding them. They talked to them. The pastor actually lived in the community.
Or you have a go-go and the whole community show up. You say you're coming over there because you want to talk and you want to get things together and figure. Then we've been there before. The person before you said it. I had somebody say to me on Twitter, and I don't mind. I can take it. That's why I'm bringing it forward. I'm not immune to it. You might as well say what you're thinking because it doesn't matter. Yeah. I am a doer. I am a doer. Join me. Because anytime you sit back and watch this status quo and watch these headlines continue, these are people. These are lives. Chief say with 43 youth being locked up, this stuff's starting at home. There's something going on the community level. She said when she got so many religious folks showing up to see her, to welcome her, standing out there with all their wonderful praise and glory and accolades, and she want to know if you're 40 years, you're 30 years, you're 20 years in the same position, overseeing with these wonderful titles, is not changing the death of our citizens, the status quo, then what are you bragging on? And why would you be somebody they need to meet? Praise God. Palms up.
Photo op.
Oh God, the ambulance
and all they want to do is eat. I was very disturbed Saturday when I was actually there at the meeting. None of the clergy walked out with her to talk to her to get the information to try to be a support.
That's the representation of what we see.
And that bothered me. You want to come to these events and want to take all these pictures, but I charge you, it's time for action.
It's time for action. It's time to be about it, not talk about it. And so when I chose to run, it was because there were so many in the community that we were helping. The Woodbury Village. Shout out to Woodbury Village.
Village.
That statute of limitations ain't up to February. We still shopping it because that's the reality. No one wants to go against this dynamic that's been created here in town. And now we're getting excited because here comes the sports teams. And we're excited too. We're hometown folk. We love all of that. We love to see the growth and the prosperity, but we want it for all. Yeah. Celebrate on one side of the city when the other side is still burying folks every day. It's easy to sit back in judgment. I'll say it and I'll say it again. Mental health matters. And we've got to get back to caring about one another. And maybe you don't understand mental health. Because I want you to know something. Mental health isn't just about the person you see with visible voices and hallucinations and, having conversations with nobody. There's a grave deal of mental health going on when you have folks that are challenging your ability to receive the proper care and dialysis. And when you speak up about them sticking you in your arm in the wrong place, or them taking you off the machine too early, or them blacklisting you because you asked the question because they're treating you like you're a piece of trash.
Or sit there and watch you bleed.
Or sit there and watch you die. Or near death. Deny you your treatment and you got to go 3 times out of the week. Of course, that's mental health. That's anguish. And we got to start holding people accountable. So there are people out there that are still stuck on yesterday's definition of mental health. So I'm not mental. Not me. It's not me. Like somebody said something wrong. Let's be clear. If you are living in low standards without the ability to come out of it, that frustrates you to the point that you start cursing and popping off and being negative and mad at the world because you're upset at your living environment, you're going through something. And there's something called preventative mental wellness. Because if you stay in those states, if you alcohol too much, if you drug too much, you are self-medicating. So we teach you mental. There's a lot of stuff. When did you ever learn anything from something being knocked over your head? Why don't we slow down and find out why we can't identify with this generation? We don't have to like them. We don't even have to agree with them, but we do owe them the respect of trying to understand where they are. And then don't you say anything. Don't you judge anyone if you're not willing to show up 1 hour out of your living, 1 day out of your week, 30 minutes to make sure the child gets across the street and out of the neighborhood and where they're supposed to get to, or stand on the porch at night and keep an eye out. How about we start showing up and being consistent? Snitches get stitches, so we don't talk. That we can do this before it has to rise to the level of snitching.
Yeah.
But we sitting in the house, we afraid, looking out the window or sitting on the porch talking about everybody else living in a community that's off the chain and got the nerve to not be registered to vote or registered and not voting, not showing up to your local ANC meetings. I don't like some of your leaders either. I don't like some of them folks in there either. But we've got to show the coalition of cares that we are, caregivers I should say, the coalition of nurturers that we are, the coalition of professionals that we are, and we bring our talents to the forefront because we understand that we're stronger together. We understand that like-minded, there's a mission ahead. We told you over 2 years ago that we need a standalone trauma and wellness center.
Level 2.
A level 2 standalone trauma and wellness center. Why? We did our homework. We did our research. We've been standing at the gate. We've been watching how things been going in this town. We need resources that will change the trajectory of our living. I don't care who you vote for, but when 300,000 people don't show
That are registered.
Registered. 300,000 voters registered.
So your voice basically was silent.
No, it wasn't silent because they was on the sideline running their mouth. They're still running their mouth. And they got a reason they feel why it's okay not to vote. And it makes no sense. It makes no sense. So I came to the forefront to challenge you all out there. He is the bomb from Ward 8, up there rapping, just as, with so much swag, just such a bright light. And all of our children deserve this opportunity. So tonight, I'm going to revisit with you, tell you these statistics, because these statistics are mainframe, very consistent in our communities. 1 in 5. So what does that mean? Next time you walk in a room, count 1 in 5. Somebody is dealing with something of a mental nature. Doesn't mean they're a negative person, a bad person, and it's not a joking matter. It's time for you to wake up and get real. You want to know why these guns are going off? No, it's not just a youth in their head somewhere. Somebody's influencing or not influencing their life in the proper ways. So if the adults don't take heed and start changing their behavior and their knowledge base, then how are the children supposed to do that? Are you active? Are you active in the PTA? Are you volunteering? We send out requests for I'm about sick of all these sideline professors. Then somebody step up to do something, and you got the nerve to send some negative messages to me. I see you in the community saying all this negative stuff. It ain't about about me. It's about my willingness to stand up and become a target because of where I come from. Because I know we can do better. And I know we have no business having everybody else trying to fight a fight with our children, our people, that we're not willing to fight. So we're dying. We died from COVID, God bless, and rest the souls of all the dear loved ones we lost. We died from cancer. God bless my dear godfather and my mother. Our military folks are, our women and children are homeless. Our individuals and families are out there challenged with matters of HIV. We're still number one in drug addiction. First it was opioids, now it's fentanyl.
And some other, I can't even think.
It's so much.
Another drug out here now.
Of course it is. Of course it is. And the alcohol is still there. The smoke shops, every other corner. At least share the message. You won't even do that. What is corny? To talk about mental health is corny? To talk about saving lives? Y'all ought to cut it out, palms up. You ought to cut it out. 1 in 5 people in America are living with mental illness. I challenge you to find out in your circles who that might be so that you can offer better support and better help. 50% of all lifetime mental illness begins by the age of 14. You're going to tell me out of them 14-year-olds in the headlines, 15-year-olds, you're going to tell me that mental health, mental illness challenges have not settled in? 50% of mental illness shows up by the age of 14. 75% begins by the age of 24. You want to begin to understand these guns going off and a mayor serving 3 terms? A mayor serving 3 terms would come out and ask the community, what do you want? When the statistical data is right here. What is she afraid of? They show up to ask for audits to find out where the money is. Don't tell me that we can't run for mayor. Don't tell me that we can't stand up and say enough is enough. Don't tell me that we can't do better at helping to stop these drugs. Stop living by the status quo that isn't changing your life or the community around you. Palms up. I'm going to give you a few more facts and I'm going to ask the overseer to bring us a word and get us out of here. But guys, it's your girl, and I'm telling you, we're forging these relationships. Shout out to our whistleblower folks and our whistleblower association. I want to acknowledge my beautiful auntie, Diane Williams. Diane Williams, look it up. Williams has won the first landmark sexual harassment case because she was able to prove that discrimination was involved. And who was she suing? The Washington Post. I guess they told her too. A woman in Ward 8, family in Ward 8. Guess they told her too that she couldn't do it. She wasn't qualified to sue them. Not going anywhere. So our children need to be able to sit at the table. They need to be able to know that they belong. They need to feel secure. They need stability. They need the confidence that they matter in this world and that they have contributions. But how can they do that coming through households with so much yelling and negativity? That's that environmental wellness we talked about. Remember that table with the 8 legs? Remember your wellness? You want me to take you back? Of course you do. Because why not hear something good more than one time? Environmental wellness, social wellness, intellectual wellness, occupational wellness, financial wellness, physical wellness, spiritual wellness. There are 8 initiatives of wellness that we could be imparting in our everyday lives and walk. That we can decide that we want to start to impart in our children and our community members. Even if we strive just to focus on the environmental wellness, but we're losing. You like being a loser? a word?
Understanding. That's the word. Understanding. Understanding that we really need help as a society, period. And the only way we can do that is we got to slow down. We're so microwave right now.
Thumbs up.
That everything is quick. And we really do. We really got to slow down. We have to learn to who they are and not pass a judgment for spiritual leaders. I know it's our job to teach the word of God. I say teach, not beat people across the head, not make it where you're so powerful and they feel like they're beneath you. But teach it in a way that they can understand. About a week ago, wisdom don't always mean age.
Palms up out there. Word.
He said to me, you know, we beef when we together as family, when we step out in them streets. If one go, we all go together. That means we stand in unity. And we forget what we were beefing about because we there for each other. That's where we need to get back to. And family don't always mean blood.
Nope.
Your family is your neighbor next door. All it takes is just to say hello. Attitude.
That's right.
And I know life pressures have kind of made us have that kind of tone. That's that mental health piece. A lot of our mental health go undiagnosed and will never be diagnosed. But when you got people that's on the street that's willing to help you through it, take advantage of it.
That's right.
Take people want not necessarily to solve their problem, but know that somebody is listening and really care and not giving them false hopes.
That's right.
Understanding is the word.
Palms up. Understanding. You heard Overseer. Guys, we're about to wrap up. I just want to give you these facts. I want to give you something to go out of here with. You heard me talk about the dialysis and why we got involved, because we couldn't believe that DC has the highest rate in the country. I'm like, God, DC again? DC again?
Everything.
Everything.
Everything is higher in DC.
Everything. That's not by mistake, but it is by design.
Health-wise, we are the highest risk. Health-wise. It's something wrong with that picture, and we're supposed to be the nation's capital. The most powerful city, not just in the United States, but in the world.
But you sit back and look at the news, and the news say we're great, and we got the sports team coming now, so, we good. We good. Ribbons, cuttings, buildings going up. Your life not changing, though. And get ready, because they coming to get you ready. Because D.C., of course, is a Democratic state. I'm just going to tell you. If you can't come to Palms Up and talk about it, so get ready. We got to get Trump out of there. So now they get you all worried about Trump. Place the blame where it belongs. But before you start blaming anybody, turn that finger on yourself. When is the last time you've been down to the schoolyard? When is the last time you wrote a letter to your council member because the daggone recreational centers aren't funded? And everybody's running around talking about they're doing a program. Where's the impact? How can everybody have youth programs and we still losing them and burying them? How can the government keep allocating money and saying they're taking care of mental health, but you see them in your hallways, sleeping? Then you want the police to take care of them. I'm not advocating that the police shouldn't do their job, because they get paid a lot as well. But community is about more than just one entity or two entities. Community is about us all. And when we don't show up to vote, we get stuck with the leadership that we got that only a few voted for. A few, it's over 500,000 people in D.C. registered to vote. Elementary. Wonderful job MPD did with putting all of the
when the police are approachable and you get to talk. Not when incidents are taking place and everybody's adrenaline is running. You say you want better, then you got to do better too.
Show up. Show up. How about shutting your mouth and just show up?
The government agencies
They just start talking. They just start. They know everything. And they probably deserve your criticism. But how you going to be talking and not show up? Oh, because somebody said you're going to lose your housing. Well, get big mouths involved. Get people involved so that they can't keep screwing you one-on-one. Come on, guys. We know our history. We got to do better. I can't dedicate the Palms Up show to our youth, to our givers of life out there, to our grandmothers out there, to our caregivers out there, to our aunties and uncles that are standing in the gap, that are helping out, to our families that would do more or do better if they just had the opportunity. Guys, we get it. We're all going through something. If we sit here long enough, everybody has a story.
Yes, Lord.
But these are our people that are dying. I'm so proud to take this conversation over to the National Press Club.
Yep.
Where the folks with top dollars, top income earners. We need to be vigilant about making sure our message reach everywhere. Stop teaching our children that there's just a black and a white. Our children got to sit at that table. Let's go. Let's go. These guns need to stop. Join Healthy DC in the community. We need volunteers. We've just been invited to another community to set services down and to integrate mental wellness programming and to call the government and anybody else all out who's getting money on the backs of our citizens. The fight ain't never over until we balance this governing and get you guys to realize that you have to vote. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for people that are aged 10 to 34. Boys talking about their mental health and talking to someone where they're comfortable. We're here. We'll walk that walk with you. That's what we do. 148 million people live in designated mental health professional shortage areas. Did you hear what I said? Over 148 million people. You're in that. If you're living in a community with ongoing gun violence and PTSD and rat droppings and slumlord realities and government officials that won't show up, people that you voted for or didn't vote for that will leave you out there hanging. It's a statistic. You're statistically living where they're not showing care for your proper mental health understandings. 1 in 4 persons shot by police and killed from 2015 to 2020 had a mental illness. 70% of the youth and juvenile systems have mental illness realities. 60% more African Americans are likely to have diabetes than the white family or individual. So 60% more times are we expected to have diabetes. 5.6 times more likely to have kidney disease. But we know that now, and we certainly know that we're the highest. Come on, DC. It's not going to change if you don't show up. We're 4 times more likely to have a stroke. 3 times more likely to have asthma. 40% more likely to have cancer. So when you talk about mental health out there, mental wellness, bring it. Bring it. We want PTSD, anxiety, depression, the popping off, all the unsatisfactory behavior. We can do something different. And then when we decide to be responsible enough to do something different, then I challenge you to help a youth. Can we adopt a family out there? Can we adopt a child out there? And I don't mean going to the courts and all of that. I mean, can we make an emotional investment into families in our community to help to help. You don't have to be getting an award. You don't have to be seen on social media doing it. Just do it because you know it's needed. We package our programming to let you guys know that we get it. Nobody wants to talk about mental health. But you come through our doors, we're going to introduce you to life coaching. We're going to introduce you to the type of case management where we're going to show up and hold you accountable. We got opportunities to help you behind the camera. A real big opportunity is coming very soon. We're not doing all this networking for nothing. We know where we come from. We love our city. We love you, and we enjoy the work that we're doing. That will not change, whether I'm sitting before you as a mental health advocate or as campaigning for mayor for Washington, D.C. See, I get it. I've been called. The two assassinated chief of police, Chief Smith, who apparently is concerned enough about our children that she's asking us what in the world is going on. They're too young, and they don't want them locked up. So what are the other options? It's your girl. Palms up. We appreciate you all for hanging in with us. I'm sure we went a little over. Tonight, in dedication of National Night Out Against the Violence with MPD, we dedicate this show to our youths and all of our families of youth that are fighting out there. You tried everything else. With Jesus' help, pick up that phone or go to that computer and go to www.healthydcandme.org or dial 202-486-6037, and that'll bring you right to me and give you access to all of our wonderful leaders, our services, our resources. Guys, thank you so much. Please share the feed. Palms up. We had this. We're going to keep doing the work. Join us. Thank you. Palms up. Save a life. Adopt a youth. Adopt a family. Do something different.